Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to Battle Brothers Season 3. As today, bloodied but victorious, our time in Agerstead wends its way to an end. And yeah, can't say I'm really going to miss this place. The pay was good, but man, the employers were insufferable. I mean, look, you may be in a position of power now, but you just wait until the next noble war, see which side I end up taking. That said, perhaps we'll have better luck hither and tonder. We'll head east across the Howling Wastes, try our luck in Tonder, and then once we're done there, we'll head back west towards Tangval. And hopefully somewhere in that process we will find a hostile camp to bust, since apparently the contract ones no longer count. So we'll have to stray a bit, either south from Tonder or west from Tangval. Honestly, probably better to do it out here. Plus, then we could circle back down south to Helvik. But, you know, one thing at a time. Tonder up first. Oh, wow. Not really much of a town, is it? Decent prices, at least. We'll take the bandages, and there are a couple of other things I wouldn't mind grabbing, but we should really hold off. Let's check the local recruits. Okay, Brawler, Poacher. Could actually afford both, but yeah, we'll hold off on that too. But I would like to get some more range guys on our back line. Eventually, I'd like to cycle in a handgun or two. How about that contract? Ah, caravan. Boo. But to Damwald? Okay. Torvald the Guildmaster's study is lit by a warm fire. He offers you a seat and a goblet of wine, both of which you take. Sellsword, you're familiar with how dangerous the roads are these days? By the gods, that is some good wine. You nod and try to hide your astonishment. Torvald the Guildmaster smiles tersely and continues. Good, then you'll understand this task I have for you. I need a caravan escorted along the roads to Damwald about a day from here. Pretty simple, right? You have the time for it? Let's talk if you do. He puts his hand on your shoulder, smiling reassuringly. I think I know an adequate compensation. What do you say to 60 in advance and 220 when the job is done? I mean, honestly, I'd probably say that's not really worth our time, but if there are no other contracts out here and we're headed back west anyway, maybe? I mean, it's not that far. It is slightly farther than I intended. About twice the distance that it would be straight to Tangval. Oh, but you know what we could do then is caravan to Damwald, take any new contracts, then north to Helvik, and then circle wide to Tangval, hopefully finding a camp en route. As good a plan as any. Just gotta make sure we keep moving. And yeah, sadly, Tonder turned out to be kind of a dud. No trade goods, no contracts. Tucked up in the corner like that, they're pretty well sheltered. Which is good for the townsfolk, but not so much for folks like us. And here we go. A crack of wood, a sudden caw. And Verlin brings the caravan up short. What's wrong, mercenary? That bird, he mutters. It shouldn't be here this time of year. Ambush! Bowman suddenly shouts. As if on cue, barbarians boil from beneath the foliage. And Drakiith gamely meets them with his spear. Spying the crude javelins clutched in hammy fists, Rook signals, directing the raiders to advance. Ooh. And behind them, the most towering of the brutes approaches, clearly the leader of this fledgling warband. Massive bronze throwing axes cradled in his calloused grip. The raiders surge forward, albeit slowed by snow. And he smashes one of the savages upside the head. His paltry sharpened sticks, no match for a whirling flail. Verlin pushes past Rook. Shield at the ready. And Revenant lunges forward, another surgical strike, catching a wounded savage by the ankle and pinning it crooked to the frost-packed dirt. Ooh. Javelins fly, and amidst that sudden storm, a random acts of violence tears away Book Thief's makeshift mask. Rook lashes out, a shrill shriek marking the moment that Pike meets unfortunate Eye. Book Thief follows suit, and Drakiith fells his own foe, before readily advancing to plug up the gap between trees. Here he trades blows with the northern warrior, impaling the less skilled savage's hand. Arrow takes aim, but once again his shots fly wide. Rev steps up next, his sights set on Erie's foe. But he fails to find purchase. One of the two on Verlin staggers, barely staying upright. And the battle rages on, unabated. A careful strike from Rook, a less armored foe's heart pierced. He gasps, dead before he even hits the ground. But behind that front line, their leader readies another axe. Drakiith lunges forward. Oh, God. Well, thanks for coming, Book Thief. Oh, actually, you're not dead. You are struck down. Well, that'll no doubt improve your already somewhat lackluster combat stats. I mean, to be fair, there are one or two options that would actually potentially improve him. Fingers crossed? One of their own felled, the raiders set about exacting bloody vengeance. Here he strikes one down on the north. Annie engages the next, shattering ribs with a well-timed swing. Verlin steps forward, dazing the barbarian chief. Meanwhile, the caravan guards hang back, watching this bloody spectacle unfold. Another strike from Drakiith, and the last thrall wavers. No longer a threat. The rest of the raiders converge. albeit warily. Reavers are no joke. And he kills the last thrall before he can flee. And the Reaver doffs his axes, drawing forth a mighty maul. Though, thankfully, his first swing is thwarted by Verlin's well-placed shield. You know what, let's go for an armor strip here. If I'd landed that first hit, I'd just knock him down, but... now I'm thinking that might make a nice gift for random. Okay, yeah. We'll go for the armor strip. Knives out. Flails at the ready. Surrounded on four sides, the barbarian Reaver flails wildly. Great, powerful swings of his maul, deflected by well-angled shields. Drakiith comes in from behind, his skinning knife piercing the barbarian's back, slipping between two corded bones. Here he takes the next swipe, his own blade biting into the meat of the mauler's shoulder. And thusly distracted, Annie lands a telling blow, and the last of the warriors falls. Taking stock of the bloodied battlefield, the raiders are startled to find that Book Thief still yet lives, poking at the stump of his near-severed arm with more curiosity than concern. Which is a rough one. That pretty much ruins him. But on the bright side, we did bank the Reaver's gear, including the heavy throwing axes, which does open up some interesting possibilities if we can get our hands on a potential thrower. High fatigue, high range attack. And yeah, as for Book Thief, sadly, I do think his time with the Raiders has come to a very premature end. Actually, we do need one injured and retired Raider to serve as our drill sergeant, as weird as it might be to get someone like him to take on that job. But, you know, beggars can't be choosers. Let's slide Trip to the back line. Keep him a mite bit safer until he's got another level or two under his belt. And Random, buddy. Sorry you missed out on the fight, but I did get you something. Gotta make them bones. Man, those heavy axes are really something else. We never really got a chance to play with those back in the day. I'd really love to now. And you know, that village just south of us does have a bunch of hunters for hire. How much do we need for a drill sergeant? Oof, okay, yeah, that is well outside our current price range, but also well worth the expense once we can afford it. So yes, as odd as it might seem, our now disarmed cultist will apparently become our drill sergeant. I'm sure that's fine. After the battle is over, you find Triphoppenskip on his knees, his body swaying back and forth as he nurses his wounded neck. You hear muffled cries in between all too loud moans. Approaching, you ask the man if he is all right. He shakes his head and explains that this was his first taste of real, vicious combat. It was not what he expected, and he isn't sure if he can continue. Look, we're all scared. You'd have to be crazy not to be scared. Most of us were scared long before we first set foot on a battlefield. You don't become a raider because life's been treating you well. We just refuse to let it get the better of us. If you want to leave, just let me know. I'll understand. The man looks around, at the bodies, at the land, at the sky. He nods and gets to his feet. Before heading back to camp, he thanks you for your words. Thank you, Captain. I'll do a better job of hiding my fears. You nod back with a terse smile before putting your fist to your chest. Bottle it all up right here, and don't let anyone else see it. Half of any battle is convincing your opponent that you're crazier than they are. Being fearless is impossible, but faking it for a time is not. The man nods again and heads back to camp with his head held a little bit higher. A +2 resolve. A silver lining on every rain cloud. Granted, he's still got quite a ways to go, but that does help, if just a little. As the caravan rests, Arrow Bowman takes you by the arm and secretly leads you to the back of one of the wagons. Peeking around to make sure no one is looking, he lifts the lid on a crate. Gems shuck about inside, shimmering sharply in what little light there is. He closes the lid. What do you want to do? That's a lot of dosh, sir. Yeah, that's why they hired us. To make sure it gets to Damwald safe. I appreciate the initiative, Bowman, but let's get the job done. I will say those gems would be worth about triple what we're actually being paid for this job, but it would also come at the cost of reputation. And honestly, at the stage we're at right now, reputation is much more valuable than gold. So, generally speaking, I try to avoid all the double-cross options. With rare exception, there are one or two unique ones where it is actually worth your while. And job's done. And look at that. They are once again terrified. We'll see if we can perhaps help them out with that before we go on our way. I'd wager that's what the One Skull contract is about. Ooh. Oh, man. A brawler with a nickname and another anatomist. Nicknames usually indicate positive traits. And while we don't need more anatomists, I really would like to get my hands on another Plague Doctor mask. We'd basically be hiring that guy just to strip his gear, unless I suppose his stats were particularly exceptional. That said, one sec. Let me do some quick shopping, grab that brawler. The anatomist can wait, but we do need someone to take poor Book Thief's place. And we're back with a big raider welcome to Rassel Russell, our optimistic brawler. I've got to say, with the nickname like the Stallion, I was really expecting athletic or burly. But, I'll take optimistic. That's not necessarily a bad one to have. As far as stats, he's pretty middle of the road. Low defense, but decent offense. Star placement's a bit wonky, but 3 stars in health isn't bad. That will definitely come in handy. Maybe the initiative as well. Not really sure what to do with him long term, but, you know, we'll see how he rolls. You know, assuming he actually makes it that far. Sorry, Book Thief. But for now, it is not the worst get. Not for 150 gold, anyway. As for the Anatomist, I will say I am still sorely tempted to hire him just for the gear. But if I do, it'll have to be after we take on at least another job or two. Our gold's too thin right now for that sort of vanity purchase. Plus, I'd really want to have a blacksmith up and running too. Minimize the chances of losing it if someone should happen to drop in battle. Which does happen, as we so recently saw. That's it. Let's knock out this contract. Rake back some of that gold we just spent, and perhaps make this walled slightly less damned. Gebbard the Wise is standing by his window, peering out while nursing a mug of mead. He doesn't really seem to be focused on anything in particular, and even talks as if he couldn't care less about the conversation. Grave robbers are plundering the cemetery. Again. I'm not really asking much of you, Sellsword, other than to go there and put an end to this foolish business. Go to that cemetery and kill every grave robber you see. Got it? Good. Well, what's the offer? He takes a deep breath. Very well, this is what I'm prepared to offer you. He pauses thoughtfully. Let's just get this over with quickly. You'll get 80 crowns in advance and another 300 when the job is done. Sounds good to me. Just a one-skull contract, so hopefully we shouldn't end up in another sepulchral slog like the last time out. Though it is in the midst of a swamp, that's slightly problematic. But job's already taken, we're not dropping it now. Also, we've got footprints. Oh, I see. We've got brigands and barbarians. Both relatively easy targets. But we should really stay focused on the job first. Targets of opportunity are nice and all, but we're not being paid to run down random ruffians. But, you know, if we're still in good shape after this, then all bets are off. Crunching, munching, the snicker-snacker of someone or something, enjoying a good meal. As you step through the cemetery, you stumble upon a clearing filled with Nach'd. They're huddled over the remains of what appears to have been the grave robbers you were looking for. The hideous monsters slowly turn to you, their red eyes widening at the sight of fresh meat. Jaws clench as nausea grips at the raiders' stomachs. The stagnant stench of the swamp mingling with the fresh offal of the Nach'd's meal. The creatures move with startling swiftness, a veritable contrail kicked up in their wake, as they skitter across the fetid field. Arrow takes aim. The first shot goes wide, but the second finds its mark, piercing a Nach'd's hand. The rest of the raiders grimly set their blades, ready to receive the charge. Even as a 12-foot brute, nearly 2 meters tall, lumbers out of the mist. Oh boy, that's a full-grown Nach'd. That might be an issue. All the more reason to play this one defensively. That thing could easily wreck most of our rookies in just 1 or 2 rounds. The raiders hold. The first of the Nach'd hits the raider's line as it greedily tears bones off of Random's new vest. Distracted by its bony bounty, the creature shrieks as Rook thrusts his pike through its arm, Curiously, there is little resistance, its body almost jelly-like in consistency, the bones bending on impact. Before Rook can better study this phenomena, however, Rassel finishes the thing off, plunging its pitchfork into its throat. Mind on the fight, you daft bastards. You can study him after we're done. Heedless of their fellow's fate, the rest of the Nach'd throw themselves recklessly onto the raiders' spears. Even the largest of their number is sent reeling. Another well-placed shot from Arrow, and the beast he first hit falls. Far from being discouraged, the other beasts behind it pause, their eyes turning greedily to this new bounty that has appeared before them. Drakiith and Eerie set their spears. The line must hold. Eyes alight with avarice, the smaller of the Nach'd rush forward. Not for the raiders, but for their recently perished packmates. Verlin pauses ever so briefly, but then, thinking better of it, smashes the closer beast in the face. Their ire once again raised, the Nach'd throw themselves against the raiders' spears. The one, thwarted, falls back, greedily shoveling fistfuls of its own kin into its toothy maw. Rubbery skin distends, bones elongate, internal bladders distend. Uttering a satisfied belch, the now man-sized beast turns its thoughts towards just desserts. And quite rightly not wanting to see that happen twice, Arrow swiftly dispatches the other. The raiders hold, not wanting to give up the advantage of their spears. Though, as always, fatigue begins to take its toll. Noting another beast's hungry glower, Verlin steps up to meet it, warding it away from two other corpses. Random moves to follow, but Drakiith is quick to ward him back. Not yet, he grunts. Growing in mass, if not in number, the Nach'd finally pushed aside the spears, tearing at the raiders who are holding them at bay. Firming his grip on his fork, Trip takes aim, and with a lunge he catches the man-sized Nach'd in the throat. It utters a growling gurgle, foul ichor spilling from the ragged wound. And yet a bony titan still yet towers behind it. Yeah, that's the one we're worried about. The raiders hold the line. Though Rook does step up, finishing the one that Verlin held at bay. These guys don't have Pathfinder, so we should be good as long as we stay 3 spaces out. It'll make base to base, but then we should be able to immediately surround it. Wish Verlin had recover. He's not going to have enough fatigue for stuns. Rassel steps up. Pitchfork poised, ready to receive. Oh, shit. Oh, gosh darn it. No, that... Yep, yeah, that was not a great move. Rassel takes a step too far forward, the beast swiftly descending upon him. Random impulsively lunges to his aid. The other beast is stunned. Reverend drives his spore fork into its maw, the tines piercing out the back of its fleshy neck, skin stretching obscenely before it tears. The raiders on the south frantically batter and stab the largest of the brutes. The beast lists, uttering a gurgling wheeze, as it almost visibly seems to deflate. Whilst Darrow puts down the second to last. The beast on the south, harried by a half-dozen raiders, grabs up one of its smaller fallen fellows, a gnash of teeth, and it's miraculously healed. The rest of the raiders start circling wide. But will they arrive in time? Oh, if only they had some sort of Pathfinder perk with which to better navigate this murky mire, this bloody bog, this swamp of slaughter. Fortunately, as massive as it is, the beast makes an easy target. Ichor and offal spill from freshly opened wounds. Growling in frustration, the beast sets its sights on its next would-be meal. Oop. Random lays into the beast, and with nary a pause, the beast in turn snatches him up. A startled yelp, and then he vanishes into the beast's gullet head first. Nary a chew, simply a great, upsetting gulp. The beast's belly bulges obscenely. The slightest movement, the only indication that the man may yet live. Which actually works out just fine for us. It gives us another full round to kill it. Having literally bit off more than it can chew, the sluggish creature burps and groans, petulantly trying to push past the raiders. But of course, such is not to be. One last thrust and the creature splits like a sodden, overstuffed burlap sack. Random spills back into view, slicked with bile and half-digested detritus. Alive, if not particularly happy about the experience. The important thing, though, is that the raiders once again emerge victorious, though we did get very close to almost snatching defeat from the jaws of victory there. But hey, new potion. A potion of flesh knitting. If one divorces the horror of the act from its utility, there are few phenomena more marvelous in nature than the Noxera's ability to recover by eating the flesh of the dead. No longer. Now man himself may take on such qualities, and without committing crimes of conscience to boot. Sadly, no instantaneous regeneration, but it does reduce all injury recovery times by a full day. So yeah, that's another one I really wish we could get multiple copies of. Not sure who that one's going to go to, but honestly, probably our Bannerman? I feel like he's the main character we can't really get by without. So the less time he spends on the sideline, the better. And you know what? We're still in pretty good shape, so I think we can afford to go for a bonus round here. Let's go for the Brigands. Better chance of getting something we can actually use. Though we may very well go barbarian hunting shortly after, they do have a chance of dropping some decent loot items. The Nach'd are felled. The raiders spy a surviving group of grave robbers trying to skulk away. And remembering what they were hired to do, the raiders swiftly give chase. Realizing they've been made, and still exhausted from their brief encounter with the Nach'd, the brigands cease trying to escape. Jaws set, weapons raised. They start sloshing towards the raiders, ready to fight for their freedom, or to at least go down swinging. Nothing all that notable, but I wouldn't mind grabbing that reinforced flail. We've had some decent luck with those thus far. Arrow takes aim, pinpointing the most brutish of the bandits. His shot arcs through the air, and with a slick shunk, sinks into the side of a bandit's neck. The stricken man staggers, using his massive weapon as a makeshift crutch, his shirt blossoming red. Drakiith set their spears, but may have actually underestimated just how much the swamp was going to slow these guys down. No contact. The raiders hold. Hey, there we go. The brigands finally break into a charge, but are bloodied for their trouble. The next shot's bandit face split by a spear, another's ear sheared clear off his head. Bowman takes aim. A bandit stumbling as an arrow sinks feathers deep into his thigh. The second shot catches him square in the face. He topples backwards, splashing into the murk. The raiders hold. Though this is definitely a case where we would benefit from having more range-based characters. Their use is situational, but this would definitely be one of those situations. Hunkered behind his shield, a brigand finally forces his way past the spear wall. A second swiftly follows, but is rewarded with a swift stab to the gut. He groans, clutching his belly as entrails bulge through the tear. Gross. No worries, though. He doesn't suffer long. Rev swiftly puts him down. Annie strafes to the north, ready to back up Erie. No, hold. Random surges forward, battering a bandit spearman so savagely it literally dents his head. A second bandit, concealed in the brush, lunges forward with a meat cleaver, but fails to land the blow. Yes, that is why we didn't want Verlin moving forward yet. I almost forgot that guy was there. Arrow fells the bandit heavy. An oppressive wave washes over the rest of the bandits, shattering their resolve. The raiders on the south quickly give chase, whilst the raiders on the north still face active threats. There we go. As the bandit shieldman tires, Yuri makes his move. The first shot slips below his shield, piercing his side. A twist of his wrist, an upward thrust, and the man's organs are shredded. Two bandits break and flee. Random swiftly pounces on one, the other vanishing into the brush. But the harsh breathing, the swaying grass, the bloody ripples of his hasty retreat make his movements easy to track. And he strikes down the last bandit on the north before stomping on his corpse, I guess. Probably really wasn't necessary. And the last of the bandits, the clever cleaver-wielding one, finds that he can no longer run, no longer hide. The raiders converge. We should at least try for the armor. I'm just pretty sure it's going to get destroyed when he runs. Swamp slows us down too much. We can't fully surround him. Yep, there he goes. And once again, the raiders stand victorious. Thrice in a single day. Not much in the way of loot, but, you know, I'm always happy to pull supplies. We've got that level up on Trip, too, which should hopefully finally help shore him up a bit. First pick goes to Colossus. Oof. And not great on the rolls, but we can work with this. We'll take the 2 in melee skill. And then I think this is going to be a very rare skip on the defense boost. Not something I would normally do, but I think in this case we're better off taking the max rolls in health and morale. Though hopefully he will roll better on future defense rolls. Ideally we don't want to skip any more. That said, 3 fights deep, I think we're at a good place to call it. Especially since I'm apt to go after at least one more of those easy fights that are currently scrambling to get away. but that's a bit more time than we have to play with today. So we'll hit the pause button for now. I'll go ahead and shuffle some gear. Get ourselves slightly better prepared for the fights to come. And we will pick up here next time, as we head back to Damwold to collect our pay. And then, yeah, I think we'll, slight change of plans. We'll head south. We'll go hit that wooded village again, see if we can go ahead and pick up a hunter or two. Bulk up our back line, give Bowman some proper company. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Erie V23, Revenant, Alois, Arrow Bowman, Dragon Matrix 7, Drakiith, EgonAlter, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Kazorm, Lady Shayna, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Tomasz, Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.